Welcome to WholeCEO with Lisa G. I'm the best-selling author of The Boss Weight Loss. I'm bringing you the top tips to be unstoppable. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually pull up a chair with today's top experts in mindset, weight loss, business, and more. Learn our top tips so that you can have more energy, be fit and resilient, feel unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. He's a mentor, author of Running Against the Odds, with a triumphant story of becoming a community leader, and one of the most prolific youth coaches in the nation, and an Under Armour coach. I'm so excited to welcome to WholeCEO with Lisa G, Coach Desmond Dunham.
Hey, thank you, Lisa. Thanks for having me. I love everything that you're doing, how you're changing lives and inspiring others, and it's just a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I love to talk to optimistic people that have overcome adversity. And after all we've all been through in the whole pandemic, I want to touch upon a little bit about your story, jumping right in, and how willpower can help fuel the desire to become a champion.
100%. You know, we go through a lot in life. And part, of what Running Against the Odds is all about is to let you know that you're not alone, that we all have our obstacles, we have adversity, and it is super, super important that we don't allow that adversity to define us, that we have to have constant reminders. I mean, you talk about having a plan with your clients, and that's the same thing, helping everyone to come up with goals and then a plan with those goals. A goal without a plan is only a wish.
True.
And that awareness and that willpower comes, the power is in the plan, and having those people around us that's going to hold us accountable, such as yourself.
Absolutely. Accountability is one of the cornerstones of coaching that I do, holding people at that high level of like doing the things that they said they were going to do because of the reasons that they said matter. And I know that you've overcome a lot of adversity and you come to this with such a great smile and such a great leader. How did you become the man at the house at age 11?
Yeah, I'm really unfortunate that early in my life, I dealt with a speech impediment. I dealt with dyslexia. I absolutely loved school initially. And then, I wasn't the popular person being pulled out of class for extra, therapy sessions and things of that nature. And then I dealt with the fact that my dad was an alcoholic. And while most people, feel like their home is a safe environment, it's a safe haven, that wasn't the case with me. And it was running that became that outlet for me when I was at a young age in high school. And so, at 11 years old, I found myself being the only male in the house and being protective of my mother and my sister, and having to make some sacrifices early on that really built a strong foundation for me to appreciate all the blessings, to have the humility, to have the gratitude for all the great things that come to us in life.
I love that. I love how sports has that power. And I've always turned to that myself, being somewhat of an anxious, hyper person. There's just the brain-derived neurotropic factors and the endorphins and just the feel good. Like I have a constant smile on my face if I'm out skiing in the mountains, which I plan on doing this weekend, because I want to feed my soul, and being out in nature feeds my soul. Exercise is a way to overcome adversity. And I love how you share that with the world. It's such a powerful message.
Yeah, I've seen some of your fitness videos and I'm inspired. And so I love how you're leading by example. And you're absolutely right that the endorphins, the serotonin, all of those great hormones that goes along with working out. And I'm just lucky that I stumbled upon it, being a part of such a great high school cross country program. And then I learned about those scientific and biochemical benefits a little bit later on in life. And there's just no doubt about it that working out can really help if you do it the right way. It can really help to brighten your day and help you to brighten other people's day as well.
Well, I just love your spirit. Like, you have just such a great smile. You got a great soul. I don't know if you guys are listening to this on audio or video, but I want to really dig deep into your story of having overcome adversity, because basically becoming unstoppable is the underlying goal of my whole podcast. I launched it during the pandemic, and I want to help all of us because it's been hard. I mean, it has been hard. Uncertainty has been like thrown out the window, and it seems like the bad news bears just keep on coming. So I want to dig a little more into your story about when you were in a race and ended up in the back of an ambulance while traveling to South Africa. How do you bounce back and find your power after something like that?
Well, so first and foremost, just a little background of the story was that my final championship race in high school, I ended up having a stress fracture, and I still ran our state meet. Didn't perform as well as I had hoped to perform, but there was no way I was going to leave my team hanging. And then fast forward, the very last championship race of my collegiate career, I ended up developing bronchitis. And the doctor told me 2 weeks prior to championships, your season is over. There's no way, you need to toe the line. And somehow I didn't give my coach all of that information. But there was just absolutely no way that I was the team captain. I had been through some challenges through college. I had to step on the line with my brothers who were my teammates. I was the number one runner. They were depending on me. And somehow, in the first mile or so of the race, it was a 6.2 mile race. It felt great initially, and then each mile it just continued to get worse. And I finished the race. I think I was around 17th when I should have been first, second, third at the very least. And I blacked out, and I ended up on the back of an ambulance. And I found out later that I had pneumonia. I ended up,
oh my God,
worsening my situation, and ended up getting pneumonia. But it's still something that to this day I don't regret.
I love that.
I think I would have regretted. Yeah.
You'll run with a stress fracture and bronchitis, even though you need your lung capacity to be able to run at that level. I mean, even if there was a gun to my head, I don't think I could run that fast.
Well, Lisa, I was doing 2 to 3 a day workouts. I was running over 100 miles a week. I had given my life to being the best version of myself, the best student athlete. My team was dependent on me. And sometimes you just make decisions where decisions sometimes are bigger than you. It's about the people around you. It's about your community. It's about your family. And that was just one of those decisions that I don't regret. It was about others. It was about being a part of something special. And I'm happy to be alive today.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to be said about leadership. I mean, it's never about you. It's like whoever wants to work for a boss who is, making decisions that only affect them, and there's no I in team, right? Tom Hanks famously said that in a movie. And I love your team spirit, and that you did not think of your own lungs, your own leg. And that's how you became one of the best coaches in America. But I want to know, what can you talk about willpower? Like, how important is that when you want to accomplish a goal?
Yeah, so I mean, willpower, you have to just, have that plan in place, because you're gonna have those negative thoughts on one shoulder that's going to be constantly in your ear that you can't do it. it's too difficult, it's too challenging, you are going to always be encountered with that. You're not good enough, but there has to be something within you that where you're willing to give up who you are for who you want to become. And you have to just remind yourself of just all the, you got to harness all of the positive affirmations, all of the positive thoughts, hire a positive coach such as yourself, and have those positive things around. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. So putting yourself around positive people who, they're not going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you what you need to hear. They're going to hold you accountable. So I think all of those things, factor into willpower. Like you're not motivated every day to go out there and challenge yourself. Right. That's a big hoax. You have to have things that are going to be positive around you. And that seeps into that willpower so that when you are in those dark moments, you have things that are reminding you to bring yourself out of that, to remind you to be the best version of yourself, to live out your hopes, your dreams, your passions, and to help someone else in this crazy world. And so I just think that it's super important to have those daily reminders. And I feel like we build our willpower around those things. And we define ourselves with the adversity and become better from the adversity. And then we can be proud of who we see in the mirror.
I love that. I think it's so important to have strategies in place to tap into about knowing why you want something, because you're right, the willpower is just not going to show up every day. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, right.
But then you talk about affirmations, which I'm a big believer in. And do you have like a morning routine or a spiritual practice or anything like that?
Yeah, so I wake up each morning. I love this Serenity Prayer. And I remind myself, because I think there's just so much stress that we take on ourselves. And there's just so many things that we have absolutely no control over.
That's the hardest thing, is relinquishing control and surrender. I need that too.
Yeah, you got to surrender, because you're going to drive yourself crazy, and you're going to just take on some things that you just don't have control over, and it's going to weigh you down. And it takes up space when you can use that to replace it with other, tasks being done, having a more of a clear mind as you move forward to try to accomplish those other daily tasks that you have set. And we just live in this world, especially during this pandemic, where most of us, we unfortunately, we do have lives being lost, and we have, just the daily challenges, mentally, physically, emotionally. But, this is something that we have to accept. It's something that we have to embrace, and we have to make sure that we're doing things to make life better for our families, for our community, and to just, make good decisions so we can get.
How can we help our audience just to be present and do the things even on the days they don't wake up and feel like it?
Yeah, so I think that something that I hold on to is the Serenity Prayer, where I try to make sure that I know the difference of things I have control over and things that I don't have control, because we can allow those things to really weigh us down when we try to control everything. And and so I realize that if I let some things go that I don't have control over, it frees up positive space for me to really be able to tackle those things that are most important and the things that I can change in my life. And so I hold on to that. And then I have an outlet. Running is a phenomenal outlet for me. And we talked about the benefits of that, but it really helps me to manage my stress. I feel like a different person when I'm done. And I just can't say this enough, that everyone needs to find some type of outlet that's going to reinvigorate them. And it's all about giving up who you are for who you want to be. And you have to just try to make sure that you find that one thing that's going to give you that spark and something to look forward to.
Well, you are so full of wisdom bombs, and I want everyone to find that outlet, not an unhealthy one like reaching for alcohol and weed and carbs, but something where you're getting these positive brain-derived neurotropic factors from exercise or meditation and breathing and serving others. Are there any final words you want to leave our audience with about being unstoppable, Desmond?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say that you will never, ever surpass your own self-image. And it is so important that you have to always think about who you want to become and follow that daily plan, or, be inspired by positive people, positive affirmations, and make sure that your image is where you want it to be. And dream about being that person that you want to be and live it every single day. Inch by inch is a cinch, yard by yard is too hard. Just look to get one little step closer to those daily goals. And you're going to find yourself at the top of that staircase at some point in time.
I love what you just said. Inch by inch is a cinch. That is so cool. Where can people find you, Coach Des?
Yes, people can find me at Coach Des Dunham on Instagram. They can also find me on my website, www.coachdesdunham.com. And I would look forward to hearing from some of your listeners.
All right, thank you for being a guest. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming to WholeCEO with Lisa G. After over 20 years helping people lose weight and get fit, I'm so excited to announce that I found the missing link with my coaching. Message me if you want to learn how to look better, feel better, and go faster with a master. Lisa G at lisagfit.com.